And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Four Gods, which is actually an interesting box cover because it doesn't matter which way you turn it. It's a pretty cool box cover, actually one of the best box covers of the year. Doesn't matter which way it's on your shelf. Now, Four Gods is designed by Christopher Bollinger, who is often known for making different games, right? He doesn't follow the same paths everyone else takes. He made the very interesting and unique, and one of my favorite games, Dungeon Twister, Archipelago. A lot of people like his games. But they have this very unique feel to them, and this is no different. At first blush, this looks a little like Carcassonne, and then you find out, hey, it's a real-time game. It takes about 30 minutes. Well, how does that work? Let me show you. The game board is a frame here that's built up, and everyone is going to reach into a bag, and they're going to have two double-sided tiles, one in each of your hands. So you can see they have different terrains. There are four different terrain types. There's ocean, trees, mountains, and plains. And someone is going to say go, and then the game begins. Now, when the game begins, players are going to have different actions that they can take. One of the most basic actions is playing a tile. When you play a tile, it must have two of its straight edges touching other things. So the first one can only be placed in the corner. And so after that, maybe I can place this one here because anything can touch the outside of the board. But after that, you have to touch the tiles according to how they are. So this one here, which has water and mountains, doesn't go there. I need water and trees. And so I'm not going to be able to place this one out at all. So I look at this one and has trees on all sides, not going to work. There's water and mountains again. And no, I can't place either one of these tiles. So what I can do is I can place them over here on the side of the board. When you place tiles here, you have room here for 10. If you're playing with only 3 players, you will have 3 extra. You can double up on these. So you have 13. And anytime you want, if you have a free hand, you can flip one of these and put it out on the board if you find it. But you can also grab the bag and pull out tiles. But you can only grab the bag and pull out tiles if you have free hands. So they're making a point, if all your tiles here are full and you have tiles in both hands, then you're going to have to wait on other players. And let's see. I'm still not sure. Ooh, this one can go here. And now that can open up this one here for maybe more things. So I need rock and water. Oh, but it has to match on all the sides. So that's one of the things you can do, and you can place tiles here and grab more tiles, and you're grabbing the bag around a table. You can also grab one of the gods. There are 4 gods. You can only do this once, so once you grab it, you are basically saying, I am this god, and I'm going to be using him. Or you might grab the blue one, or the gray one, or the green one. When you get them, you get profits. The good thing about profits is, when you have a profit, when you're putting a tile out, maybe I put a tile here, you can place this profit in one of the areas of that tile. So as that tile grows, that area is going to be your area. So this ocean here in that. However, someone else may place a tile that attaches to that later on. And if they do so let's say someone places a tile here, they can also go in that same area if they want to. So players are going to be placing tiles around the board simultaneously. Once you have these, you can put these out too. You can also put a legendary city out. Now, a legendary city also has to touch 2 straight edges. A legendary city itself is not a straight edge. So once a legendary city's out, so let's say I put a legendary city here, and then somebody places a mountain tile in such a way so that it's touching what I know that can't touch there, but let's say there's a tile here. I can't put a tile here because this is not a straight edge. It has to touch 2 straight edges. However, when you put a legendary city tile out, you also put one of your guys on to show that it's yours. If it's still there at the end of the game, you're going to get 5 points. However, if somebody can find a tile that fits where your legendary city goes, they can blow up your legendary city. Whoops, wrong way. Like that. And take this and put this in front of them, and they're going to get 5 points at the end of the game. Not to mention, you lose that profit. By the way, you have a limited number of profits, but once you put them all on the board, when you put out a new tile, you can remove one from a place and put it on the new place if you so desire. Now, the one thing about legendary cities is when you're placing these, every tile has only 2 or 3 terrain types on it. There's no tile that has 4 types of terrain on it. So if you have something like this, for example, was set up so that there's mountains, water, trees, and plain touching a tile, you can put a legendary city there and not worry, because there's no way that one can ever be replaced. So the game goes until everyone decides they cannot play anymore, which is unlikely, or till the tile bag runs out of tiles, which is much more likely, or until the board is filled. At that point, you will score each area. So let's say we're scoring this water area down here, and let's say that it was built bigger than this, like this. Okay, and that's not actually a good thing. Let's see, I need water. And that doesn't work either. As you can see, it's really actually hard to build this whole setup here, because it's very easy to have tiles that just don't fit in place. So I'm trying to throw one together here, but it's not quite so easy. So let's say anyway, this is the thing here. So you notice there's 5 tiles made up of the blue. Blue and yellow are tied, so they're going to get a point for each tile that there's no profits on. So they're each going to get 3 points. Let's say yellow had this. Now yellow controls it. So yellow's going to get all the points, and they're going to get 2 points, 1 for each empty tile. So everyone's going to score points for the profits. You pull the profits off the board as you score them. At the end of the game, players are going to also look at which god they are, because your colors don't matter really, except at the end. Here they matter. You're going to look at each area that matches your type. So if I'm blue, I'm going to be checking all the water types, and whoever has the largest one of their type is going to get 15 points, and then 10, and then 5 for second and third. And then whoever has the most areas of their type is going to get 15, 10, and 5. You'll notice there's a score track around the outside of the board. Also, don't forget, you're getting points for these legendary cities or destroying them, and whoever has the most points is the winner. Now, that is one method of gameplay. There's some tokens that you put next to the board to show if you're playing with teams, how many players you're playing with, and that's how many profits exist for the players. Whether you're playing simultaneously, like what we're doing, or whether you have a turn, there's a timer that you pass around the table, and each person has so long to take their turn if you don't all want to play at the same time. And you can also play with hidden gods, where each person's god is hidden. You have a color, but it may not necessarily match here, and at the end of the game, you'll score points for your areas on the board. So as I said at the beginning, it's kind of like Carcassonne in real time, and that really is how it works. But this is a very intriguing real-time game, because your right and left hand are so critical in this game. It's hard to explain. You have one tile here and one tile here. You can't like switch them back and forth, or you have this tile you're looking at, this tile you look at. Okay, I can't use this tile, so I'll stick it in one of those slots. Now this hand is free, so I can grab the bag and pull out a tile, but maybe I should use this one, or maybe I can pick up and mess with the tiles that are already out there. And while the game is a speed game, you're putting out tiles as fast as you can, it then slows down. It slows down in lots of different ways, because there will be long moments where everyone's just staring at the board, because finding the right tile to put in these spots is not an easy thing, because you have to put them next to 2 straight edges. The first 4 are easy, boom, boom, in a corner. And after that, they're not so hard to put along the edges. And then you start placing them out in the corners, and it starts building, and you're sitting there, and you're flipping through your tiles as fast as you can, but you can only do that if you have empty hands. So I like it, but I fear that this game has an extremely limited audience. I thought it was enjoyable. I don't know that I thought it was so enjoyable I want to play it over and over and over again. I definitely like the real time rather than each person taking their turn, because that's just too long. Even with the turn, I found that people got even more stressed. It's my turn, and everyone else is sitting there watching you, waiting for you to make your move. I do like the hidden god aspect, and I do find that it's weird in a regular game that you grab one of the gods as your action. Sure, you're like, okay, well, how are things forming? Oh, there's a big ocean spot. I'll grab those guys. But it's even more critical to get those profits and start throwing them out right away. So I just grab one. I don't see that it matters. I just grab one, and then I concentrate on making that one big. But if it's hidden at the beginning, I would prefer that, because I'm like, okay, I'm trying to make oceans big. And now everyone knows who's making what. And you are looking at where everyone else goes. That's a big area. But at the same time, I'm using 4 of my guys in that area, so there's not a lot of empty spaces. That scoring works, having the most of a different thing and having the fewest. So it's a thoughtful, real-time game. And there's not many of those. Most real-time games are just crazy insanity. This one that initially feels a little bit crazy, but as time goes by, it's more, and then eventually the game will end. If there's, I also not fond of the way that the bag works, as you're grabbing the bag and you have to lean all the way across the table to grab it, and the gods are in one corner and the cities are in the other. And I will tell you, if you've never played the game before, do not put those cities out at the beginning because they will be destroyed. You want to wait till you find those spots where pretty much no one's ever going to be able to place a tile. Although destroying a city is very, very, I don't know, therapeutic. It feels good to blow up someone else's city. Anyhow, so the box cover is great. The board itself looks pretty cool when you put out the things. You're building that map, and that whole Carcassonne tile laying feel is something that looks good as you put it out. But you're going to have to like real-time games. You're going to have to like quick thinking and area, having the most in different areas, area control. You'll have to like that too. And I think there are a lot of people who like that. I'm just not sure the grid of people who like that, the Venn diagram of people like that, and the people who like to play as quickly as they can. I fit in that category, and I enjoy this game, but even I would say, once is enough for a while, then we'll play it again later on. But it's a cool experiment, and one I think that's worth checking out. Oh, and one last thing. The game comes with these little boxes to hold the little profits. Doesn't really matter, but I thought it was kind of cool. Neat little tuck boxes for your figures. Dice Tower Judgment approved.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.